Welcome to the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, where we talk about life, love, and business. And today is a very special broadcast. It's the first day of the holy month of Ramadan. And so I wanted to say Ramadan Mubarak to everyone who is listening. I got a couple of messages that I want to give us before we begin. And then I want us to just talk about, wa alaikum salam, dear brother. I want us to just talk about what Islam means and what Ramadan means to those of us who are following this concept of becoming a conscious entrepreneur. So greetings, Brother Lamont, Brother Kevin, Nubia La Flo. I be doing me subconsciously. Welcome, welcome. I wanted to begin, before we do anything, with a letter that was posted from our beloved brother Sultan Ramadan Muhammad, who is the Student National Imam of the Nation of Islam. And it begins, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear believers, we pray this letter finds you in the best of health and spirit and enjoying Allah's many blessings. All praise is due to Allah that we have been blessed to make it to the holy month of Ramadan. Multiple notifications and postings have been made regarding Ramadan that have led to some misunderstanding as to when we in the Nation of Islam will observe the first day of fasting. With that stated, observation of the holy month of Ramadan begins tonight, April 1st, 2022, that was written yesterday, with prayers and reading of the Holy Quran after Maghrib prayer. Tomorrow, which is today, Saturday, April 2nd, will begin our first day of fasting from sunup to sundown. Okay, so we're starting now, family. Inshallah, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan will speak on day one of the Ramadan prayer line, okay, on Sunday, April 3rd. So tomorrow morning, the minister will be that Sunday on the Ramadan prayer line, which will be our second day of fasting, okay? May Allah bless us all with a successful month of fasting and reading during the holy month of Ramadan. Ramadan Mubarak, Brother Sultan Ramadan Muhammad. So we are starting now. And so I've been up. I got up about 4 and got some of my water in. Sun up here is around 7:15, 7:14 or so. So I'll have a few minutes after I get off with you all. But I got up at 4 to get my water and prayers in. And I just started off saying to Allah, can I just sit with you? I just wanted to sit. And so that's what I did this morning. I want to talk about today the importance of these types of spiritual practices to those of us that are conscious entrepreneur. And I have an excerpt from one of the minister's lectures that is a really good excerpt for those of us that are in business. And I think I've played it before, but with that, I'm going to just play it again. And I really want us to focus on his words because he pretty much sums up the concept of a conscious entrepreneur and what it means to do business in this type of manner that we talk about on the Mind of an Entrepreneur movement. Before I do that, let me remind you all to go to our YouTube page. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also make sure that if you want, you can binge on past episodes of the Sajdah Saturday Morning Coffee Talks, the Mo Today series on Black Muslim businesses, as well as the Mo Today Manifestation series. That's all on YouTube. Also, the link in the bio contains a link to my past radio shows that you can binge on as well. But with that, before we get into too much of this, Let me play this excerpt from the minister so that you all can just really get into what it means to be a conscious entrepreneur during this month of Ramadan, and how important it is for us to have these spiritual practices as business people, and for us to be conscious of something other than just trying to abide by the rules in whatever industry that we're in and trying to beat the system and all this other stuff. So let's take a minute, let's listen to this, and I'll be back after we finish.
Faith.
Give me a thumbs up if you can hear.
Achieve the impossible. Now, people are always telling you what is impossible. Come on. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, brother, you can't do that. Oh, sister, you can't do that. And if you believe it, you won't even try. That's right. That's right. That's right. But when you have faith in God, there is no faith that is impossible. Now, how could that be? Because when God created this whole universe from nothing, He destroyed the impossible. I want to say that again. And I want you to hear it and think about it. And once upon a time, none of this existed. And the Creator created it from nothing. Then what's impossible with Him? See, a lot of things are impossible without Him, but there is nothing impossible with Him. Now look, brothers, see, when you don't have faith, real faith in God, you don't even attempt things that people say are impossible. But when you have faith in God, you will try the impossible and find it's quite possible. So faith in God is a key to accomplishing anything in life that you desire. Now look at this. And I know you've heard me say this in times past, but I want to reiterate it again because of how true it is. Just as a baby on its mother's breast for the first time does not know that milk is there, but will keep on pulling until some milk appears. That's faith. It's the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. When you look at this universe, everything that you need to make life beneficial to you is already here.
Come on, brother minister.
Think of anything you want. It's already here. You ain't got to create nothing. It's here. But the question is, how strong is your pull on the mammary gland called the universe? Because the universe is a giant breast. I'm going to say it again, since all these brothers like to think about, excuse me, sisters. I'm trying to help you with simple things to understand great things. If you can see the universe as a breast, I'm not being vulgar, but that's exactly what it is.
Ramadan Kareem.
And if that baby can pull on the breast, believe in believing, hoping something gonna be there, and that hope and that belief is rewarded because milk comes. Then you have to learn how to pull on this universe to get the things out of life that the God who created this and you promised. What do you want? Well, brother, I want to pay my bills. It's done. What do you want? That's all you want? Oh, that's punk stuff. But you ain't even going to pick up on the heavy stuff if you can't get by the little stuff. And the little stuff that's messing your head up is denied to you because you don't have faith. The scripture says, if you have faith, the grain of a mustard seed, you could say to the mountain, be removed, and it will be so. Well, what kind of mountain do you have in your life that you can't move? And have you ever seen how small a mustard seed is? It is so tiny. I have some at home. I shared it with Brother Minister Ishmael and some others that were at my table. I just put a mustard seed in their hand. He couldn't even hardly find it. That's how small it is. And when Jesus said, if you only had faith that small, you could say to a mountain, be removed. So what mountain is in your life that's troubling you? I've got a lot of problems. So tell me something new. That's what life is. Life is problems. So what? If you don't have a problem, you're not here. So where are you? When God brought you here, he brought you here to give you a problem. And the solution to your problem is also here. But if you lack faith, you walk around like a dog chasing your tail. And you never quite make it in life because you are a faithless individual. That's your problem. Afraid, and you ain't got no faith. So you got to live by schemes. You got to try and trick somebody. When you ain't looking, take their wallet, you pickpocket. You learn craft in stealing. You learn how to manipulate silly people to take from them. And a whole universe out here ready to give you its treasure. But you are a punk. And you're doing punk stuff.
I just wanted to play that again because, man, for one, it's just it just sums up what we talk about as conscious entrepreneurs. And I wanted to play that before we talk about the importance of spiritual practices like Ramadan for those of us that are in business. You know, oftentimes we tend to think about why we're in business. A lot of times when we start, or if somebody asks us and we say, oh, I want to give, I want to love, I want to support. And then we forget about that. When we get on the rat race and on that hamster wheel of trying to pay bills and get money and all of that stuff, we lose our purpose oftentimes. And that ability to succeed, that ability to stunt on somebody, that ability to just have money to pay the bills becomes our reason for introducing those much needed goods and services into our community. But if we begin our businesses Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah. So I'm moving forward in His name. And we keep that as the forefront and as the foundation for why we're doing what we're doing. And some people might say, well, what does selling real estate or what does making widgets have to do with being in the name of Allah? Well, because my freedom allows me to be creative, to allow the God to flow through me, and to allow Allah to introduce to the world Himself through our service as business people, as entrepreneurs. See, a lot of times we forget that our nation, the Nation of Islam, was built by entrepreneurs. That the establishment of Islam through Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was through the establishment of trade routes. That's how Islam spread. And so when people meet you and they see how you do business, how you treat them, how you help them, how you conduct yourself, what you do when your back is against the wall, they're watching you. And so instead of trying to scheme people and like the minister said, pimp folks and rob folks, just do good service. And let that be your guide. Let that be the establishment of a new way of being. See, part of the problem is that the way that business is spread in this world that we live in today is through a concept that I call predatory capitalism. And in the world of predatory capitalism that was established with the kidnapping of slaves. See, that's when they really established the process of kidnapping. There was no capitalism as we know it today prior to the establishment of slaves. So what did they do? When they brought the slaves over, there was a dominant class or a dominant person, a predator, and a subservient person or a slave. And so the whole system was based on that relationship. So even if you and I are no longer the quote unquote slaves, somebody got to be on the bottom and somebody got to be on the top in order for this system to work. And so what happens on a micro level? Well, then as we're moving through this system, we're constantly mimicking that system. And the whole idea of being of service and putting yourself in a position where when people do business with you, they feel like, man, I don't feel like I was taken advantage of. I don't feel like I was robbed. This person really served me. This person really helped me. It ain't about them, it's about you. Making sure you don't practice the same systemic behaviors that were established when we were brought here as slaves. There were whole industries created. Not only just the agricultural piece of it, to where once there were no longer legal slaves, they had to devise a system to keep that in process. That's why they came up with sharecropping. There was a whole marketing and propaganda style of doing business that was established during the slave trade to justify the slave trade in the first place. That is the same system of marketing and propaganda that is out today. Same one. It's just using different subjects. So when you take that system and you continue to practice it, you're continuing to perpetuate the mind of the conqueror and the slave even today in 2022. So spiritual practices for those of us that are in business today is very important. See, some people say, well, you know, my religion is love. My religion is respect. And that's fine. Practice that. Practice that in your business. Practice that in whatever you do to deliver the goods and services to your community? How much charity work do you do? Do you ever once in a while just do something for somebody just because? See, I learned that sometimes you have to judge people based on how much they're willing to give. How much in service value are you willing to give above and beyond what you receive? Or are you just out to get the money? Give me my coin and I'm out. How many of us are on that? How many of us have stakeholders other than our bottom line and the money that we make? What do I mean by that? Because see, a conscious entrepreneur or a person who practices conscious capitalism will move beyond the exchange of dollars. In fact, about the dollars is a small part. Because what does the conscious entrepreneur say? Let's say that conscious entrepreneur is in real estate. Well, it's about providing value above and beyond the commission. You know what? I'm going to help you. I might drive you to that extra place. I may give you a hint on something that you can do. I may help you stage your place. I may just do something nice for you. Take you to dinner because I know that this business is tough for you. Or let's say you're in the restaurant business. Well, what's important to you? The bottom line, of course. But how important are your employees? Maybe you say, I want to offer jobs, and I want to offer jobs with respect. Maybe provide insurance. That's always been important to me as an entrepreneur. Helping people maintain their dignity. Maybe as an entrepreneur, if I'm in the restaurant business, the environment is important to me. So I'm not going to emit fumes into the neighborhood that could cause somebody to get sick. I'm not going to be like these companies over here that just say, I don't care, I'm processing my food, my whatever I'm making, and damn them fumes, I don't care what happens to those people. Maybe you should say, I'm not like that. Maybe you say, you know what? As a restaurateur, I'm not going to serve death to my people. So when they come in my restaurant, I'm not serving fake food. And I'm going to go that extra mile to research my suppliers. I'm not going to serve a plate of pasta that has 1,000 milligrams of sodium because I care about my people. I understand that the pandemic before the pandemic was cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, being overweight, high cholesterol, smoking. That was the pandemic before the pandemic. We've been in a pandemic as a people. So if I open up a restaurant, I'm not contributing to the death of my people. I'm not going to contribute to that. I'm not going to contribute to the in excess of 100,000 people that we're losing as a result of those risk factors that I just named. I'm not contributing to that. So if I serve a dish, is it real meat? Is it real pasta? How are you manufacturing it? Is it kosher? Is it halal? Is it healthy for my people? Because I'm not going to serve them death. I'm not serving fake stuff. I'm not going to trick them into a situation where they pay more money than what they should be paying just because they're doing business for me. I'm going to put a little extra in my stuff so that they get something free. If it's just nothing other than extra beautiful packaging. The way I serve my people with a welcome, with a politeness, with a thank you. They call my business on the phone. Do I got an attitude? Do my employees act like they don't want my people to come to my business? See, you want to show the world that doing business with you and I means something. See, because if you do business with me, you're going to gain access to a civilized business person. Somebody that conducts business with a sense of elegance and civility. That's what you're going to experience. And I'm going to help you learn the power of these techniques so that you can go all the way around the world and do business with any and everybody so that you're not creating a track record in your life of being a predator. See, that's the importance of these types of spiritual practices like Ramadan for those of us that are in business. See, it'll force you to let go of the pimp mentality. It'll force you to let go of the hustling mentality. It'll force you to let go of trying to get over on folks or get something for nothing. I try not to even hire people. See, let me say this. If you work for me and then you end up leaving because you're like, I was just really here to get something for nothing, I never chase after anybody. I don't chase for one because what's for you is for you and what's for me is for me, and ain't nothing neither one of us can do about it. But I also don't chase because if you are in the position where you feel like you can't be of service to myself and to those that I serve, then you can't really work with me or for me. My brother Rhymefest always says that service is his love language. And I say, yeah, I like that. Because service is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's love language. Service is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's love language. Service is God's love language. Now, money is important. So we're not talking about being of service and not getting anything in exchange. We make no qualms as conscious entrepreneurs about having money, and having and wanting a lot of it. Why? Because when we receive our rewards, we have plans to share it among our family and friends. So when we come up, somebody else around us is going to come up. When we come up as conscious entrepreneurs on knowledge, this is why I get on here every Saturday, every Thursday, every Wednesday to share what I've been blessed with. I've been scooped up and moved all around the world to do business, so I've learned a lot and I've studied a lot. What difference does that make for me to sit up there on the shelf and go, oh, I'm beautiful. I'm a millionaire. I know this. I can do that. And just be a trophy? You think that's why Allah put all this stuff in us? I know for a fact that just for me to have moved around the world safely and to be back here in my home talking to you is a great blessing. But for me to be able to move in those circles and to learn and experience and then be back, I got a duty and an obligation. And then as I begin to open myself up to Allah and say, make me your conduit. I remember praying that prayer in 2007, I think. I said, Allah, can I be your conduit? Can you make me your conduit? So if I'm a conduit, what does that mean? Energy flows through me. I have to give. I have to be of service. That is the love language that I use to show Allah that I love Him. So during this blessed month of Ramadan, we get a chance to realign ourselves with our discipline, because some of us have nervous eating habits. Some of us just eat just to be eaten. Some of us just drink excessive amounts of water where we just kind of got our organs drowning in water. So this helps us to re-regulate, to realign, and put our body back in the right state. It also helps us to access what I call the frequency of revelation. Y'all hear me talk about this all the time. We talk about frequency levels and love being the highest frequency level of all the emotions. This is why when we love someone, we're willing to do anything for them. We have supernatural strength. We can figure out stuff that we probably couldn't figure out without the stress of a loved one being in trouble. And we start thinking like geniuses when we need to save a loved one. We start defying all kinds of things that we would have been afraid of when we think about helping a loved one. We say prayers that are so sincere and so amazing that just that prayer protects that loved one. The prayer of a mother for her children is enough to help you move a mountain. So love is that highest vibrational frequency. But beyond that is the frequency of revelation. You all hear me talk about this all the time. When you get out up over your skis, when you get out there into a space where it's just you and God, and you're going to need some communication in order to get yourself up out of this. That's the highest frequency. People reach that even as artists. Because as artists, they may not be moving in a way that is considered intellectual, but they're moving. Somebody's saying they can't hear me. Give me thumbs up if you can hear me. They may not be moving in an intellectual capacity, meaning in a way that they can draw upon their education. So they went to school to learn how to paint. And so when they're painting, they move beyond the techniques that they learned in school and they let themselves get inspired. We see it all the time in church when you hear the brothers and sisters singing. They're singing and then they're singing. And so they sing and we say, oh, they're anointed. They got the Holy Ghost. Blah, blah, blah. Think about that. They're beyond their intellectual capacity. They're out up over their skis. They're somewhere else. That's the highest form. And so experiencing that, where you're motivated beyond your intellect, is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So this is what we're talking about when we start talking about using spiritual practices, like we said at the beginning, like Ramadan, as a way to push us beyond our intellectual capacity, to get us in the practice over the period of the month of Ramadan of leaning and pulling, as the minister said on this lecture excerpt that we played, on the mammary gland of the universe. See, we've been talking about this since our New Year's Eve manifestation party. We even talked about it last Thursday on Manifestation Thursday. Pulling on Allah for whatever it is that you want. Using His love language to accomplish your goals. What is that love language? Service. And then watch the money flow in. Planning your business and putting together your strategic plan in the name of Allah. And then as we're moving forward, asking Him to guide us on the right path and not the path of those who have gone astray. So practicing that predatory capitalism is the path of those that have gone astray. And I always have to say this because I know sometimes as spiritual people, we think, okay, well, we just give up on business. We just give up on money and we just go out here and just give and allow people to take. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being a punk in business. I'm not talking about giving away everything to where you have nothing. I'm not even talking about not making any money. I'm talking to you about how to make a lot of it and plenty of it. But you see, if you haven't been paying attention to the manifestation series, you know we talk about that money, wealth, and abundance hates hypocrites. See, when you're a hypocrite when it comes to money, you have to resort to schemes. and pimping and thieving and doing things that you don't want to do and deceiving people in order to have money. You go, okay, let me go kick it with this person and get with this person so I can see if I can get some money. I can see if that money gonna fall down over on me. That's not what we do. So this month, as conscious entrepreneurs, if you can, practice Ramadan. Fasting during the day, not even water, from sun up to sundown. And throughout the day, being of service, giving in charity, and just realigning and recalibrating your energy with what matters. Refrain from intoxicants during this time. And then set an intention. Set an intention. Think about the mental conditions that we talk about during our Manifestation Thursdays. Think about those mental conditions. And then set yourself in a position where you understand and you've defined that mental condition. What do I mean by mental condition? The mental and emotional state that you need to be in order to accomplish whatever it is that you want. Who do you need to be in order to have what you want? That comes with a physical conditioning, a spiritual conditioning, an emotional conditioning. So establishing that and understanding that and kind of wallowing in that energy. Set that up so that throughout the day, when you feel yourself get hungry or thirsty, you can practice taking yourself to that mental condition. So how will you feel? I always use a big project that I'm working on. It's a life project, which is the renovation and restoration of the former home of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I know how I'll feel when you all come through there and see it. I know how I'll feel when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan sees it. I know the mental condition, or at least I think I know, the mental condition of that finished project or the finished product. I'm there already. And so during this month of Ramadan, if I get hungry, if I get tired, if I get thirsty, instead of practicing the energy that makes me go grab a cookie or a chip or a piece of fruit or a snack, go to that energy of that finished product so I can go to how I feel when that project is finished, when you all are there. So when I feel it bubble up and I say, man, I want some water, I want a cookie, I want to drink some coffee during the middle of the day, that's an emotional condition that triggers a response. So when that emotional condition pops up, I'm going to take myself to the emotional condition that I'm chasing with the finished product of something that I've been working on. Does that make sense to y'all? So, all right, I'm going to let y'all go. I don't want to keep y'all. Let me see, when is sunrise? Did we miss it already? Okay. So sunrise is at 6:34. So if y'all haven't finished drinking everything, then it's done. It's over with. So I'm going to let you all go because I know we have to finish our reading this morning. Make sure you keep up on your reading, but practice these mental conditioning techniques during this month of Ramadan. It's a beautiful time to practice it because it's a time where you're redisciplining yourself. So think about when you're in your car and you get ready to whip in that drive-through of your favorite fast food restaurant, and you know you shouldn't be whipping through that drive-through. What is the mental condition? What triggered you? What mindset did you go into that put you there? And when you feel that urge, stop and say, let me pivot Let me make a move. Let me make an adjustment. Let me pivot so that I can practice placing myself in the right emotional condition of my accomplishments, of my goals. You see? That's emotional fitness. That's emotional fitness. That's being able to make yourself pivot at the right time, at the right place, so that you control your mind and you begin to tell your body, I don't run this. You don't run this. I run you. I tell you when to eat. I tell you when to heal. I tell you when to get up, when to have strength. I tell you how to survive. I'm in charge because I'm in line with the universe that already has set up every single thing that I need to live, to be happy, healthy, wealthy, and to experience more love. So thank you all for joining today. Thank you for coming on. Make sure that you pick up your commemorative Elijah coin. We need your help and support. The finish line is right there. We're trying to sell these last coins that'll help get us up over the edge. So if you don't have one yet, and if you say you love the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and you say you support this project, then why haven't you gotten your coin? Manifest that coin during this Ramadan. All right, so you just go to sajdahhouse.com, SAJDAHHOUSE, and pick up your coin and support this very important renovation. And so with that, I'm wishing you all a very blessed first day of Ramadan, and inshallah, we'll see each other soon. Peace and blessings.